Hi, my name is Dr. Felucia. I'm a licensed psychologist and owner of Skill Set Counseling, where I focus on the treatment of OCD, cultural abuse, and spiritual abuse. Today's topic is going to be in the realm of spiritual abuse, and I'm going to be covering the three most common challenges that people face after spiritual abuse. The first challenge is making decisions independently. And so I'd like for you, if you're not familiar with the topic of spiritual abuse or how I define it, to go back to my other videos in this topic, and you'll see them in the video section of this channel. But I talk about spiritual abuse and what it is. And basically, spiritual abuse is when people, it could be someone in spiritual authority or someone in your spiritual environment, uses spirituality as a way to harm or a way to control. Okay. And when people are in a spiritually abusive environment, that spiritually abusive environment functions in different ways. It wears down different skills and abilities. And so it makes sense that when you have left that spiritual abusive environment, you still may have difficulty in certain areas and still encounter certain challenges. And the first one that I see a lot, or I see very commonly, is making decisions independently. The spiritually abusive environment thrives on control. And so individuals who think freely, who question things, who want more information, who just have an independent way of thinking are oftentimes shamed and isolated for doing so. Okay. And so when people leave that spiritually abusive environment, those laws may still be operating in their mind. And people can ask themselves questions such as, am I making the right choice? What if I make the wrong decision, is this going to haunt me forever? Are the consequences going to follow me around for the rest of my life? Am I too sinful or spiritually immature to make this choice? And you will hear these things in a spiritually abusive environment. And so these are some of the questions that can plague people when they are trying to make a decision independently without the input of that spiritually abusive environment. Okay, so that's the first challenge. The second challenge that people can face is setting healthy boundaries. And again, if you go back to my other videos, you will see how spiritually abusive environments can really do a number on people's critical thinking skills and also the skills that you need to detect and escape spiritual abuse. And one of those important skills is developing healthy boundaries, saying no and acting in accordance with that no and following through. And boundaries are not just about setting no, but it's about acting in ways that preserve your personal autonomy, preserve your physical and psychological health, basically exercising your free will in a healthy and independent way. And because spiritually abusive environments thrive on control, healthy boundaries are when people execute healthy boundaries, they are often shamed and isolated for doing so. Language is weaponized against them in such a way, and they can be described as people who are selfish, people who are spiritually immature, people who are causing division, all different sorts of things like that. And so even when someone leaves that environment, setting up healthy boundaries, saying this is what I want, this is what I prefer, this is what I'm going to tolerate and not going to tolerate, can feel very scary for somebody who's been used to the abuse from a spiritually abusive leader or a spiritually abusive environment. Okay. And so, by the way, if you're finding this information helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you put a thumbs up, like the video, and also put your comments in the comment section below about your reaction to the video. This helps the algorithm and also helps get this information out to other people who could benefit from it. The third challenge that you may have if you're recovering from a spiritually abusive situation or leaving a spiritually abusive leader or an environment is trusting others. Anytime you've experienced spiritual abuse, you deal with people saying one thing and behaving in a completely different manner. Okay. And you get a crash course in the dark side of human behavior that you really did not even sign up for. And so when this happens, you see a very dark, twisted side of maybe people or an institution that claim to be beacons of spiritual light. And that can be very conflicting, it can be very traumatizing. It can really do a number on you psychologically. And what ends up happening after that is that you have a really difficult time trusting others. On one hand, having sharpened discernment and having high requirements for people to earn your trust is a good thing. The problem is that the spiritually abusive environment is very isolating. And so when it's isolating, you already have difficulty being around other people that are supportive. And when you leave that spiritually abusive environment or leader, you can feel even more isolated. And so now when you're recovering and you're out and about and trying to form new and healthy friendships, it can be just exhausting and so challenging to try and go through this process again of determining who you can trust and who you should stay away from. Okay. And so I'm going to go over, I'm going to go over anyway the three topics that I covered in there, the three challenges that people have in facing and recovering from spiritual abuse. So the first one is thinking independently, making decisions independently. The second one is boundaries, setting healthy boundaries and sticking to them. And the third one is trusting people. Okay. And again, these are all normal challenges. This is part of the fallout that comes from leaving a spiritually abusive environment. And this is why taking the personal time to recover and heal from spiritual abuse is very important for your personal, psychological, and even physical health. Okay. So if this resonates with you, if you would like to learn more about how to deal with these challenges in a one-on-one environment, go and you can click on the link in the description box, or you can go to skillsetcounseling.com, where you can book a free consultation to discuss these issues further. Okay. May you be blessed with a day full of peace. Bye-bye.